For missing the target from there, you want bloody shooting. Oh, it's crap. Oh, it's bloody rubbish. It's rubbish.
But how do you react, though, when someone, from your playing staff comes in and says, boss, I think you're doing this wrongly?
Good. Well, I ask him which way he thinks it should be done. We get down to it, and then we talk about it for 20 minutes, and then we decide I was right.
You Reds indeed! Here I'm Long-Haired Yeti. We're in the cave. Welcome to the cave. And basically, we're just going to have a chat and just deal with this shit. I am the British Buffoon, and I got the American Idiot. Yeah. Just talking football and trying to work out how to get him on this stream. I probably will fuck it up because it's the first time I've done it. So I am popping my cherry today. And that intro, I think that intro is awesome. Because you've got to have Brian Clough. If you're a Forest fan and you don't have Brian Clough, then, what the fuck are you doing, really? What are you actually doing? Right, anyway, without further ado, I just want to say I needed to find somebody with, who was funny, had charisma and intelligence. Unfortunately, they let me down. So here he is, the man, the myth, Mr. Oregon Gooner. Right, is this going to work?
Hey! What's up, bro?
How you doing, my dude? You all right?
I'm glad that you found someone with the lack of intelligence that you were looking for earlier. So now I'm going to get someone smart and funny and charismatic and good looking. That gets that goon guy out of the list. Cross him off. You should have brought TJ on if you wanted, the look and the flair.
No, I didn't want that kind of look. That's like a scary clown in the gutter.
Oh, snap.
No, mate, anyway, great to have you on here. Thanks for joining it because, it's my first time of actually doing this where I have somebody else on. So, come on, mate, talk to me about Arsenal. What's your thought?
Oh, what a window we're having, huh? What a window we're having. I mean, really. And I don't know if you heard a couple streams, but I'm going to say it and say it again. I'm just really excited because we're in that 100 million club, right?
Yeah.
Really pushed ourselves to that 9-digit number that we've wanted as Arsenal fans. We've wanted at least for the last 7-8 years. Those prices have come up in the market. I truly think that if you're spending 50 to 60 million, I mean that's almost the average price of a player was 15 years ago, 25, 35 mil. So the market goes up, the inflation goes up. Of course, we paid a little English tax for our man Declan Rice, but at the end of the day, I think the money was well spent. And of course, there's other players that everyone has the players they want in, right? This guy's better than him and so forth. But I think with Timber, Rice, and Havertz, I think those are good buys, man. I
agree.
I mean, we have our disagreements in our Arsenal ranks about Havertz, but when it comes down to it, he's still a German international. He joined Chelsea. He was 20 years old. So you got to give him a break a little bit,
Yeah,
I just think that this well as anybody. Just because one player doesn't perform well in another club doesn't mean he's absolute shit at the next.
Spot on. Absolutely.
Yeah, it just doesn't work that way. Like he's not going to lose his talent overnight,
Yeah.
Chelsea have been kind of a shit show for the last couple of years anyway, except in Europe where they've, won again a couple of seasons. But,
to be honest,
so
to be honest, I just think that basically you've got to, Havertz to me has got all the tools, but nobody's opened the toolbox. So I mean, if Arteta can actually open that toolbox, because I mean, you just look at the guy and he's got the physical attributes, not in weight and all that kind of stuff, but I do think he offers something. I do still think you need backup. I think you need like quality backup as well. That's where I think you're losing at the minute.
Yeah, and I know we've been looking at Romeo Lavia from Southampton, and I don't know if you heard this or not, but the João Cancelo talks have picked up a little bit again as well.
Yeah.
And those are both players I rate and would love to have in. But I'd also Jurrien Timber has a twin brother named Quentin Timber, who played for Ajax as well, and he's supposed to be a pretty good dynamo. Big up, Flossie.
Big up, Flossie. Thanks for dropping in.
So if we can drop the dime on Quentin Timber and get his twin brother in, possibly, that'd be great. Yeah. That have the Timber boys in the squad would be kind of different, but he's pretty class. There's players out there, and I'm not sure if we're done spending money yet, bro. I think. Well,
yeah,
this is we're gonna drop another 100 mil, but I could see us spending another 50 to 60 mil on maybe one or two players.
Exactly. The thing is, you just got to carry on with it now, because you've got your first target, which is absolute. Well, you ain't got him yet, but you're going to get your first target, which is massive, because Arsenal ain't done that for a long, long time now. So that to me is huge, and to me, I just think you need more backup and more decent backup, not Fabio Vieira's, the little putty boy. You know what I mean? He just. I mean, I'm not being funny, but if I ran past him, he'd probably fall over. But then again, I am quite overweight, so anybody would probably fall over.
I've got a little beer gut going on, but I would knock him down on his ass. I mean, if I was, good prime shape.
Big up, TJ.
If I was a prime footballer and I'm going against Fabio Vieira, I'm just going to knock him down.
Exactly.
He's not even there as far as I'm concerned. And that's the thing with Havertz. It's an upgrade, right? It's an upgrade on Xhaka because he's 31. Havertz is 24. That's 7 years difference. He's an upgrade on Fabio Vieira, obviously. And he's an upgrade on Lukonga. He's coming back from Crystal Palace.
Lukonga, isn't he? Something to do with King Kong. Is that fucking King Kong's island?
He can go be King Kong in Belgium or wherever the hell he wants to be, but it's just not an Arsenal Football Club. It's funny, Yeti. I don't know if you knew this or not, but Lukonga was, brought into our ranks because of Thierry Henry saw him in the Belgium. Apparently. So if Thierry Henry's scouting players for us, I think we need to nick that right now.
Well, to be honest, mate, I think Thierry Henry needs to stick to running at people, taking them on, scoring amazing goals. If he picks someone like Lukonga.
Stick to a commentator's role,
Yeah, definitely.
For the Euros and stuff. But again, the window's been great, man. I got to say, so far, it's definitely a 7 to an 8 out of 10 window. Now, I know
I'd agree.
I know. I think we overpaid for Rice. I think we overpaid for Havertz.
I think.
But in this day and age, you're going to overpay. You're just going to overpay. If you're a big club.
You've got to. You've got to do that if you're gonna get the top targets. I mean, me personally, I think that Man City pulled out because they don't think he's worth that kind of money.
Right.
Because the thing is nowadays, as you'll know as well as I do, I don't know what age you are or whatever like that.
49.
30, 29. Oh yeah.
I wish.
You had a bad paper round.
Yeah. You can add 20 days to that, buddy.
Oh, happy Independence Day as well, by the way.
Thank you.
Everybody who's in the chat, happy Independence Day. But I mean, the thing is like, fucking forgot what I was going to say now.
You're putting my age in question, age of wisdom.
I mean, the thing is, it's like, you had to, in my opinion, you had to do that. You had to show some kind of, hey, Jazz, man, how you doing? You all right, mate? It's you had to do that. You had to actually go out there and get your number one target. You finished second last season, and to be honest, if anybody's expecting any better, you've got to finish first.
Yes.
I mean, he's put himself in a position now where he's not good enough if he don't finish first. Big up Arsenal forever. Thanks for being here. You've got to do it. You've got to do that. And to me, personally, I think you should go and get Caicedo as well. and I think you should go and get Lavia.
Yeah,
I think you should get them both.
I would roll out the red carpet for both of them. Lavia, Lavia is someone I would say, we can put in some low-level FA Cup games if we play, like Swindon or somebody. But, I don't know if I trust Latvia just yet to be in the first team and start trying to protect the back four. I just don't know if he's there yet as a young kid. Yeah. But yeah, there's options out there, and the overpaying, like you said, clubs are going to overpay what they can afford, right? Like Forest will overpay, but they're not going to overpay like 20, 30 mil. They might overpay.
No. Well, we did go a bit mad last season, to be fair.
Right.
But then again, we had no choice. So.
You had the resources to do that for just being in the Premier League, right? You got a large sum of money. And you guys obviously spent wisely because you kept your club up. So, I think we spent wisely too. Is there other midfielders? Sure. But again, it puts us in that level, and it really sends a signal by finishing second.
Absolutely.
And spending the 9 digits, 100 mil club.
Yeah.
And it shows the rest of Europe that, hey, Arsenal's a real serious contender.
Arsenal ain't fucking around anymore.
Right. I really hope that's the case and not, we're fucking around the next couple seasons and then we're going to be back to the same status quo that we were 10, 15 years ago, right?
Yeah.
But I've said on a previous stream that this is a real paramount season for Arsenal coming up. I think in the club's recent history. Because we've made big purchases, we finished second, and now we have to follow through.
Yeah, 100%.
The point is, if we just win,
not literally follow through, because that means you fill the pants with poo.
Not follow through, but follow through is what we started. I guess I should say, right? I don't want anything falling through. I just want to follow to what we did last season. Not the back end, but I want to pick up momentum, and I want to win the first 4, 5, 6 games out the gate.
Well, you're not winning the first.
If we don't, then we put ourselves in a crap position, and then we're fighting for points. The great thing about last season was we were on top pretty much the whole time, but for a week or two? I mean, it's just it's so disheartening to have 93% of number one, and then 2 weeks are City, and then they win the trophy. I'm still really pissed about that.
That is crazy.
And
it's just giving your opposition, it's giving your rivals so much ammunition to rip into you, and then you buy a dog called Win, and then
Win.
and don't win ever since.
To boost confidence.
I mean, it's just you just like setting yourself up for a fall. But I mean, I've always had great respect for Arsenal. I've worked with people who've been Arsenal fans. Most of them, to be fair, would see these people on Twitter and see these little upstart little twats and probably put them through a fucking wall. Because they was like diehard Arsenal fans. They wouldn't mess around with those kind of people. You started talking shit about, Odegaard's better than Bergkamp. That dude's going flying, mate. That dude's going out the fucking, he's going off the planet.
Absolutely. And that's part of like the younger fan bases. That's why they need to watch shows like Jez's show, The American Idiots, even your show. The younger crowd needs to know that the players in the past were pretty incredible. I mean,
exactly. Somebody saying to me, like, Loddy is better than Stuart Pearce. I'm going to launch that fucker straight to the other end of Nottingham. Yeah. You know what I mean? It's just not even an argument.
It's right, exactly. It's when they try to say something just to chat shit and not, not make any real educated point. But going saying about Arsenal being, kind of big in Europe now, I just want to attract those bigger European names because I want those players to see that, Arsenal finished second. Well, we should have finished first, right? Essentially.
I want you to get some stars, mate, so I don't feel sorry for you anymore.
Right. I want some stars too. Like I want a Lautaro Martinez. I want some of those cats from AC Milan and Inter and, Marseille and some of those ballers. But at the same time, it's like, do we just go Premier League proven? And that's kind of the Romeo Latvia case, right? I mean, there's definitely better CDMs out there, but it's like he's kind of Premier League proven. He's got a lot of energy.
19 years old.
And, that's young, but
you know what I mean. So he's got a lot of growing to do.
Right, and that's still the same thing with Kai Havertz. We're like, Havertz, blah blah blah, but he's still 24. I mean, there's still a lot of life in that. And remember, he's replacing replacing 30, 31-year-old Granit Xhaka. You're talking a span of 6 and 7 years of age. So I'm still excited about the window, but I still fear that if we don't come out and win the first 4 games and get ourselves in a hole, it's going to be hard as hell to dig out of, because Liverpool are going to have definitely improved with Szoboszlai. Cody Gakpo has now a season under his belt. He's going to be ready to go. Mo Salah is going to be ready to go. Nunez has a couple seasons at Liverpool under his belt. So writing off Liverpool because they had a shit season, they're going to be geared up for this season.
Of course they are. You can't. And the thing is, it's like a lot of things that a lot of people don't take into account is, yes, she did really well last season, but I said it from the start of last season that if someone stops you playing, it will make a difference, because there's no plan B there. And I think that's as soon as Arteta gets a plan B, then you're going to be serious, like contenders. You know what I mean? But you didn't. I mean, like when you came to us, I know it was like the end of the season. I ain't taking that into account. We beat you fair and square, and that was it.
Sure.
We gave you a game you didn't want, which is what I said at the time, and that was the way it went, and exactly the way I said it. But you've got to add that plan B. And I don't know. I mean, I don't know what you think, but towards the end of the season, there was a few games where he tended to play a little bit of a plan B, where you're sitting back a little bit and sort of soaking pressure up and then going on the counter attack. So if he's working on that, then maybe that'll work.
Yeah, I've wanted a plan B for years, even through the Wenger years. When we'd be behind like Bolton or Blackburn back in the middle 2000s, and we end up maybe drawing or scraping by a goal, but I still want to see us batter teams, and I want to see us batter, teams like yours, right? Because teams like yours are going to be the bogey teams that historically we've given up points to, like we just did last season. So we can keep your team, Brighton, some of those other lower level teams, but have a plan B, because when plan A doesn't go well against teams like yours, and there is no plan B, then that's when you guys win.
Yeah.
That's when you guys have exploited our attacking 100%. Play. You've exploited our defense, and all of a sudden now we're on our back heels, and the momentum shift, and that's exactly what happened with you guys last season.
The thing is, what you've got to worry about though, mate, is we've already got a plan B. It kept us up. So if he works on a plan A now and pulls in these attacking players like Callum Hudson-Odoi and all that kind of stuff. I mean, Odoi, I'm not too sure about. I mean, I always find him a little bit greedy, but it might work out. I don't know. But if Cooper's got faith in him, then I've got faith in him. So, he's the best manager we've had since Clough, in my opinion. And I said that ages ago on a Forest channel, and they all laughed at me and all this kind of stuff. And I was like, look, this guy looks after the players, tells the players what he wants them to do. It's exactly. It's not like Clough. I'm not in a million years going to say it's like Clough, because Clough was he was an amazing manager. He was the best manager that England never had. And if England had about him, then we probably would have had more faith. But the thing is, my thing is this, right? Is Rice is good, don't get me wrong. He's decent. He's not world class. We seem to throw around this world class thing all the time now. Saka, 100% could be world class. Definitely. In time, in years, he could definitely be world class. There's no doubt about that. But half of these players that they say, they just stick them in the international team and then start calling them world class, and they're not world class.
I know I think that's kind of just been the history of the English national team for a long time, right? I mean, there's always been like 4 or 5 really strong players, 3 really good players, and then 2 that are just an absolute joke. World class to me is, look at the Madrid team that's won 3 Champions Leagues in a row.
Mbappe's, them types.
2, and then they won, I think, 2 after the year after their first run of 3. They won 2, and then I think they lost the 1 or weren't in it, and then they won 3 in a row. I mean, that's class to me. Like any top player in like La Liga, Barcelona, Real Madrid, those are all world class players.
Jez is spot on with that, by the way.
Modric, David Dean. Yeah, because David Dean got things done.
Mm.
And he knew that if we didn't get the right players, that someone else would get them. So it was a race, and it was competitive for David Dean. But now it's just a money game. Who
Do
can
you
throw
think
the
you'll
biggest
get Rice?
pass?
Do you
What's
think
that?
you'll get Rice?
I think we got Rice.
Or
think
do you
he
think it'll fall through?
No, I don't think it'll fall through.
Mm.
I think it's too late in the game. If it does fall through, then where's he going to go? Because City have pulled out.
Yeah, true.
You know, if
True.
City come in with with some shocking thing, but you're right. I guess it's not done until his signature is on the dotted line.
Yeah, that's it, isn't it? Yeah.
But I just think that it's done right now. But I just don't think they're releasing the details. And Arsenal back in the day used to be kind of secretive with our signings as well. And Arsene Wenger would bite his lip and not say anything. And we don't know if we're linked to that player, but everybody knows we are. And then a week later we'd go and buy them, right? So it's just this kind of game of I think we're trying to hold our cards close to our chest. But the fact of the matter is he's already signed as far as I'm concerned. If they've taken the money and did the deal. Jez is saying he's having his medical. Timber, I think, is having his medical probably the same day.
Oh, right. Okay. No, that's cool.
So I think a lot of stuff. I think he's going to be announced the next couple days.
I think you will get him. I think, you know what? I think a lot of the clubs are like behind all this, like, let's let them sweat. Let's,
right.
And let them sweat a bit. Let them wonder if we're actually going to do this or whether we're not, all sort of thing, which is bullshit, really. Because, I mean, at one time, never used to be like that.
A game with the agents and all that kind of crap, But I think if rumor has it, we're paying Kai Havertz £330 a week. I don't know if you heard that.
£330?
330 a week, and I just think that's asinine for Kai Havertz.
What, pound?
Yeah.
£330? Do you mean 330,000?
Oh, 330,000, absolutely. Come on. You know what I mean. Don't let the Stella get to you too much there, buddy. You can add the 3 zeros at the back. £330,000 we're going to pay a week for Kai Havertz. Now, I think that is ridiculous. I think that is a joke.
It's a bit weird, isn't it, really? Yeti on the white.
It's weird. I mean, just say that number.
I got a wife, mate, so nobody's getting beaten, don't worry. The cat might get it later on. We'll see.
Well, see, we call that Budweiser here in the States. Rainier.
Is it not Bud Light?
Bud Light,
Dylan Mulvaney fucking drink.
Apparently, you got to wear a dress to drink Bud Light now in America. But I've always been a Coors Light guy, and a Stella and Corona. But yeah, Kai Havertz, 330,000 a week. What do you think of that, Yeti?
It's mental, mate. But then again, I look at Lingard and look at what he was on, and all he did was like play the fucking clown in the dressing room. And I've already made it clear that if any team wants a fucking clown to pay me that kind of money, then I'm available. I ain't got no problem with that. I'll fucking do that in a heartbeat. And I'm so glad that guy's gone. Because he was, I mean, you've got all these Forest fans on Twitter going, oh, we loved him, he's a legend. A fucking legend? Are you fucking mad? He never even fucking played. The only thing that's going to miss him is the fucking bench and the medic fucking bay.
Wow. Your fans are a little more deluded than ours. Well,
mate, they do go there at times.
Going back to like teams that are going to be ready to go again, we've got our girl Mama Flossie in here with Newcastle.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be really interesting to where they do this season.
Definitely, Tonali's a massive signing.
That's a massive signing. He was someone I wanted at Arsenal a couple seasons ago. Yeah.
Well, you guys wanted Danilo as well, and we got him.
Yeah,
and he is fucking awesome.
Yeah, I'm fearful. I'm nervous because we have to be competitive and we have to win the damn thing next season.
Mm-hmm. You've got to.
Really
the only way you can go up.
We won't.
The thing is, though, I'll ask you now.
I think Liverpool and City are going to be really, really good, man.
Will Arteta get the trophy of trophies, the Holy Grail, the Community Shield? I mean, the Premier League.
Well, I hope that Community Shield to go with the rest of ours because that's really important.
Big up, Carl, mate. Cheers for dropping in, buddy.
Hey, what's up, Carl? It's like I said before, it's either the Prem or out the door. And This will be his 5th season at Arsenal. We've given him enough time, and the board has backed him. The owners have backed him. The fans are backing the transfer window. I think I haven't heard anyone say it's a huge disappointment. Some people are griping, but that's going to happen. Not everybody gets the players they want in.
Yeah,
they see money, and it's just like it's very
Well,
alarming.
it's like that thing I posted in Instagram earlier about basically that guy saying doing a team of Arsenal for next season. Havertz ain't in it, but if you look back on his account, it's we've got Havertz. Havertz is great. He's going to be amazing. All this and the other. So why ain't he in your team then?
Well, I saw your post. I saw that with the 4-2-1-3, right? And
yeah, and he's got all his nicknames: Zinne, Gabbe, and then fucking Bukayo Saka gets BS.
It depends on where he wants to play Havertz. He could see Havertz coming on, as in place of Jesus. I think that's pretty scary, right? I want him to start in left mid, but at the same time, if we do let's say a 4-2-1-3 formation with Declan Rice and Partey in front of the back four, I don't have a problem with that either.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because I think that if we have 2 defensive mids, that's a lot of coverage. That's really a lot of coverage, and that gives Rice more mobility to go up the pitch while Partey holds back. And then now if you do that formation, that cuts Zinchenko out of the inverted role, right? So if we do a 4-2-1-3, that's going to make sure Zinchenko is going to have to cover the left wing and not go inverted, which,
Or is Rice going to have to drop back and actually cover Zinchenko? Because you don't want that.
Well, I don't want Havertz back there either.
Well, no, I definitely don't want
Rice is a better defender than Havertz, and so it really depends on where Arteta's going to play him. And I don't think anybody really knows yet. He could play as a striker. He could play as a false nine.
What do you think about having like Rice and Partey as your 2 sort of back line? I think that's good.
I think that's a safe option.
Yeah, definitely.
I think it's a real safe option, to be honest. Yeah, it's leaving Havertz, just because you spent 65 million on Havertz doesn't mean he goes right into the team.
Too much, mate.
Too much. It's too much of a mix-up from last season, and depending how he trains and what like how he performs in training, he may sit the bench for a while and maybe just come on
in the shirt,
75th minute or something. But if Rice, what I'm worried about the most, Yeti, to be honest, is if Rice doesn't really perform or gets, God forbid, gets injured. Because now we're 100 mil in the hole, and we've lost our prime target, let's say, for 2 or 3 months, and that could
that's huge. And you've got
the works.
You've got us to come. You've got us as your first game, and Yates don't mess around.
No,
Yates will go in on Rice. He's not worried about
that. I think this season is going to be really definitive, not only for Arsenal, but for even some of the clubs like Tottenham. I mean, what are Tottenham going to do? What are you guys going to do? What moves are Chelsea going to make?
We're going to win the league, mate.
Going to put out there. I mean, it's really kind of all up for grabs because
they're going to win the league and then get another star next season.
You think City's going to? So your prediction already is City right out the gate.
Yeah, we're going for him, mate. We're going for all of you.
Yeah,
we're going for all of you, mate.
I think we're gonna do well, but I'm cautiously optimistic. Because we've been let down before.
Like I say, I think you're going in the right direction. I think you definitely need more backup. I mean, it's all right having Rice and that, and you may keep Xhaka. I mean, to me, it's like you've got a thing there. If Xhaka stays, you've got Xhaka, Saka, and Rice, and that could be part of your prawn sandwich food ball in the ground.
Throw a little Odegaard mayonnaise in there.
It could become a new meal, So you've got that going for you.
I do think the Xhaka deal's 90% done, to be honest. His wife wants to go back. He won't Leverkusen, he can go back. But part of what's upsetting about that is knowing that we need a winger. Why can't we put that money towards a Moussa Diaby move, right? That's what I'm thinking. Like, we've got to be smart about some of these moves as well. I think we upped the price on Xhaka, and Leverkusen agreed, because I believe before it was like 17 million, and we got it up to 21.5 million. I mean, that's good, but let's put that money to use, because what's really 20 million now sitting in the bank? I mean, what are you going to use?
I'll tell you what. I'll tell you
put it
now.
to another player.
If you all of a sudden went out and got Mbappe, I think everybody will sit up and take notice.
But that wouldn't happen till 2024, right?
I can't see it, but
Yeah, well,
not billionaire. You got a
quite on
billionaire.
it. And I hope I don't get slayed for this in the comments, you guys.
They're slating all of us, mate. I've been reading.
Okay, so remember, excuse me. Remember,
saying he needs to get his hair cut.
You know how much money the Cronkies got for the Denver Nuggets winning the NBA championship? You know how much money the Cronkies have got for the LA Rams winning the Super Bowl a couple of years ago? And I'm hoping that money is all in a big fund, and not just the basketball funds, the football funds, the NFL football funds, the Avalanche, etc. What I'm hoping is they're able to get that money together and say, this is a definitive signing. Sell the Cronkies on the signing. Take your time and do it perfectly. You have to execute, as you know, those transfers perfectly. There's no dicking around. If they want 225 mil, you don't give them 200 mil, right? You don't give them 205 mil. You come in with the right price and the right package. And I think if we do well this season, because remember, he's a free agent in 2024. So if Arsenal do well, let's say we win the league, I think that puts us again in that upper echelon for a club for him to really go, maybe there's something there at Arsenal. Maybe the Mbappe name will be the next Henry, because guaranteed if Mbappe does, he's getting the 14th shirt. If he doesn't get the 14th shirt, that'll be a disgrace. But I do think the money could materialize. And I think that we could actually make a real play for him if we finish first this season. If we don't finish first this season, I don't think the Mbappe thing happens at all. And
I think you could.
Honest, I still think he goes to Madrid.
I think you could make a play for him now, mate. To be honest,
you think we should?
I think if you're serious about becoming the Arsenal of old, then I think you could make a play for him now. I don't understand why you can't do that with a billionaire owner. You know what I mean?
Right.
Do it, because that's the only way you're going to take City.
Yeah. Oh, right. And it's getting to the point where it's going to be like it was, for many years, even in the 90s. If they have a top striker, you need a top striker. They have a top midfielder, you need one. It's got to go tit for tat, because at this point, those are the guys that are going to make the difference, right? Holland, difference maker. Mbappe, difference maker.
Yeah, now what? Come on, mate.
Player number 0. He's going to get the fuck out of my club if Mbappe shows up. He can go on loan to Forest.
Hey, what?
Because that'll work well, because he'll sit on the bench at Forest like he did at Leeds. Right, so
you'll be getting on the bench, mate. You're not even getting on the coach.
Anywhere. He'll wear 0 because he'll be gone. But we will have a lot of crap to get rid of to make the Mbappe thing happen.
I think you should go out and get Tony, to be honest. I don't know. I don't think Jesus is good enough. Not for 20 plus goals a season.
I think Jesus is a decent squad forward. I don't. Right, he's not really a striker. To me, he's more of a forward. But he's a decent winger too. I would keep Jesus around. I mean, to be honest, he's the least of my worries right now. You know what I mean? I think Jesus, Trossard, Martinelli comes back fit. Saka comes back ready to play. Odegaard comes ready to play, and Declan Rice has the energy. Party comes back.
Jez, enjoy your dinner, mate. Thank you.
Enjoy your dinner, Jez. Thank you very much. Happy 4th of July, my bro. Talk to you soon. If we come back ready to play, Yeti, we're going to be a threat. And Declan Rice is just going to enhance that, and so is Havertz, and I think Timber's going to play on the right. So that comes the question we talked about before. If we talk about formation and we have 2 defensive mids, how are we really going to invert a Zinchenko? Is that, how does that really work? Because that leaves a massive, massive gap on the left side. If you have 2 defensive mids, and then you put Zinchenko up there trying to, weave passes up to Odegaard and Saka and so forth. I just don't see how that works. I see a clogged midfield They'll be running into each other. You know, and
the thing
I never
is,
liked defenders in the back anyway. Always like
the thing is, when you played your thing, you was amazing. Like I said before, yeah, you could see that as soon as if somebody stops you playing, you struggle. Yeah. And that was the main thing last season. Yeah. Even though, like, for 93% of it, you was just on it. I mean, you beat us 5-0, but at the same point, you know, we didn't have our team sorted at that point. So, you know, we still just had a load of, like, you know, players just put on the pitch. I think we sorted it by the end of the season. I think we really got a team going at the end of the season. Everybody doing what they needed to do. And that's why we're not really worried about the signings and all that kind of stuff, because, you know, I think we've got what we need. We just need to add like a few more things to it, a few more attacking players. And, you know, we're looking at a lot like that guy from Man City, Carlos Borges, who's apparently an electric player, which to me sounds like he's the fucking Flash. But if he is the Flash, then great. You know, we'll have the Flash. That'd be great. You know, put you all in fucking freeze time while he just runs through and scores goals. That'd be amazing. But, you know, I mean, the thing is, I think you are coming back. And I think you are, like, coming back with a fucking vengeance. But it's going to take time and it's going to take building. That's just my opinion. I don't think Arteta will be there by the time it's done.
Really? That's no. I think Arteta is, I have mixed feelings, because it's kind of like there's a certain part of me that thinks there's definitely other managers that can get a tune out of these players, get a tune out of the squad. But at the same time, it's kind of like I think these guys really do look up to Arteta in some ways.
Yeah, I do.
I really do. I think Odegaard and him have a good relationship. I think, he had a good relationship at, the last season with Xhaka. I think he's got a good relationship with the defense, with Ramsdale, with Saka, even though I think he uses them too much. He needed a big time break at the end.
Yeah, definitely.
But I think that his relationship with the players is probably pretty damn solid at this point.
He's got easy molded players. He's got players that won't answer back and won't, go against him and all this kind of stuff, which is why he got rid of Aubameyang. Which, and he's doing it that way. And I mean, you can understand that. I get that. You see, the thing is, difference nowadays to back in the day was like you had Brian Clough, who just took a load of nobodies. And just said, you're doing this, and you're doing that, and you're doing that. And if you don't do it, you can fuck off. You know what I mean? But that was back in the day when you could do that.
Accountability on the players, because they weren't making £330,000 a fucking week, They didn't have the salary power to say, no, manager, I'm not going to do that, And Aubameyang, at the same time, let's be realistic. I mean, Arteta was playing him sometimes at the left wing back and didn't know where the hell to play him in this first couple of seasons with Aubameyang. And, all good Aubameyang, he won us an FA Cup, and he beat United in one of the crazy matches, I think in the pouring rain, half snow in a winter game. So I have nothing against like Aubameyang and him wanting to be who he is with his chrome Lamborghinis and his jewelry and shit. That's fine, but you got to put it out on the pitch. And when your manager's telling you to drift wide and go left wide, where the actual play is happening somewhere else on the pitch, I mean, it was just like so fucking stupid the way he would treat Aubameyang sometimes. And you could see Aubameyang just scratching his head like, what the hell are you talking about?
What the hell are you doing?
Like, why am
I think that says a lot, actually.
Thing? We can all see his frustration.
I think that says a lot. I think that says a lot, though, when you got someone like Aubameyang scratching his head and stuff like that, because at one time he was like the big thing.
It was a top,
what I mean? And then all of a sudden he's just become like nothing. And if you can't get something out of him, to me that's a manager. A manager can get the best out of what they've got. They don't have to sort of fit people into holes to make sure that, you know what I mean? I think, and that's what Clough did.
Yeah, you can't force Aubameyang to play left mid, and then make a diagonal run when the ball comes through. I mean, and how many times during that time, we never really saw, a 4-3-3 with our attacking strikers or left winger as Aubameyang, Lacazette, and then Pepe. I was always looking for the 4-3-3 with that, and we never really played that formation with those three players.
Maybe let me just read what Carl Rossi said. Despite the potential incomings, I do not see Arteta winning a major trophy. I pray we lose the Charity Shield. The super fans will use that as a fucking excuse if we don't win others. Mate, you want the Charity Shield because you can use it as a fucking dog bowl. So, you want that 100%. You definitely want that. So, yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, I think he's doing things right. I've never had much faith in the guy, to be quite honest with you. But he has the players playing the way that he wants them to play. So, and let's face it, for 93% of that this season, you was fucking owning everybody.
Yeah. Yeah.
You was destroying everybody.
And then it kind of fell apart at Liverpool when we decided to put Kiwior in for Odegaard. Those things.
If you don't score in 10 minutes, then your plan's out the window. And that's the problem. That's the problem.
Right. And that was my nerves too, watching a lot of the matches. If we don't score, like you said, the first 10 or 15 minutes, it's kind of like squeaky bum because you don't know what to expect. Because we all know there is no plan B. There was no plan B. And I think though with the players we're getting in now, I'm hoping that he can see that and make the necessary changes with the players that we're getting in.
Yeah. Well, what TJ said here, Stevie Wonder would see that Auber was disinterested at the end. Well, I know Stevie Wonder. He's a personal friend of mine, and he's told me he didn't see it, which to the point I went, well, you can't see anything. So that's obvious you didn't see it, isn't it? Sorry, I just had to get that one in.
Definitely hit your boy Stevie up. I could use a loan or something. I know. How much would you pay Stevie Wonder a week? Run around
he wouldn't know anyway.
That would be hilarious.
Know how much you pay.
Alba was completely disinterested because he was playing left mid and left wing back for game after game, and and I think and some of the top gooners will say, well, that's Arteta experimenting with the team. That's bullshit. So, like you said before, at the time before he joined Arsenal, Aubameyang was one of the top 5 strikers in world football. He was crushing it at Dortmund. He was, doing his dit. Where was he at before Arsenal? I forget. Was he still at Dortmund?
That's spot on by Arsenal.
Arteta, I don't understand. Yeah. I think every manager needs that. And his man management is going to come into question for sure. Arsenal forever this season for sure, especially that he's been back. He's got the players he wanted, and there's no excuses. And I'm pretty much would put him at the guillotine myself and say, if we do not win the trophy this season, he absolutely has to go.
He's got to
because you've got the money, you got the players. Thanks, TJ. Yeah, Dortmund. I thought he was in a club.
So you can't beat us at the City Ground.
Say again.
You can't beat us at the City Ground, although the way he's set up is madness. But I'm not taking that into account, to be honest with you. We owned you in that game. I'm not even going to lie. We owned you.
We'll see what City bring. There's a possibility they could lose Bernardo Silva, right? What sign? They're looking at Gavadol. I don't think they've signed any offensive players, have they? They're looking to sign
as far as I know.
So they could pop up anytime, right, with a couple of top signings, right? But I still think that squad is pretty stacked, of course.
Yeah.
They could sell Bernardo Silva and get another midfielder in.
Exactly.
But, there's options at PSG. Maybe he wants to bring in a younger mid. They have Vitinha. They have Vitinha at PSG. He would fit in well at City. City will make moves, but I think they're looking defensively because I think Laporte is going to be gone.
Yeah.
I think even Arsenal were looking at Laporte, and that's someone that even like Nottingham Forest, you guys would, he would be great. So speaking of your club, where do you think you're going to finish this season? You think you're going to finish in the top 10?
First, mate.
Okay. I love the delusion.
Mate, you've got to aim for first.
Yeah, you got to aim for first.
I'm a Brian Clough baby. And if you don't get first, you don't get anywhere. So I'm always going to say first. I think realistically, I'd say hopefully like top 10. Sort of that. Hopefully, we're not sort of towards the bottom. I can't see it because basically we've built something now, and we've got like a real good base,
Right.
and we just need to add players to that to actually be able to take teams on, instead of just sit back and fucking like drain all this shit. But I mean, I still keep hearing Forest are getting relegated last season. Need to change the story, man. It's like deja fucking vu.
Yeah, exactly. I can understand you being a fan of being in the Prem now, like kind of tired of hearing that. Like just, like I would think like your fan base should just enjoy, ride the wave, get the money, play hard.
Spot on. Anything 19 upwards is a success for us.
Yeah.
But I'm always going to say top.
Yeah, no, that's
Because,
good. Because Leicester City did it, right? So who says Forest can't?
Exactly.
Right? Any team in the Prem really can, right? It just depends on your schedule, but but realistically, like you said, I think that I don't know. You guys are an odd bunch. What if it really goes south though in like January and December? Do you get rid of Steve Cooper and try and rebuild?
Well, personally, I mean, I wouldn't. But at the end of the day, I mean, you need to sort of like keep your managers on. If it goes really, really bad and we're at the bottom of the league and we're not getting anything every single game and stuff like that, then unfortunately, you've got to think smart and, you've got to do that. But the thing is, there's so much support for the guy. And we love the guy. I mean, he's the first one in 23 years to get us. I mean, he started in the Championship, was bottom of it. He got us into the Premier League. I mean, you can't knock that. You cannot knock that. But everybody's got a life scale. Everybody's got a rope. You know what I mean? And at the end of the day, it's all about Forest for me. It's not about Cooper. It's about Forest. And if he's not doing what we need him to do, then he'll have to go, and that's it. It was shame, but it just is what it is. But I think that guy is going to take us to massive heights.
Who owns the club? Do you have a rich billionaire or something?
We've got Marianakis, or Mary Nickers, as I like to call him, because I would have said I can't pronounce the name, but I just did, so I can't go on that one anymore. But yeah, Mary Nickers sounds funnier, so I'll go with that. But he's not. I don't know if he's a billionaire or anything like that. But at the end of the day, he chucked 150 million in at the start of the season. You can't knock that. And I think he'll chuck another 100-odd million in this season. I don't think we'll sign as many players. I think we'll just kind of like fill the gaps that we've got. I mean, Loddie's obviously probably going to go. So,
where do you see the biggest gap?
I think we need some. I think we're sorted in midfield, and defense is fine, but we probably need a few backups. Just backups, really, and basically the forward line. We need to actually be playing a game and taking teams on, instead of actually sitting back and soaking up pressure and trying to go on the counter, because that's not what he wants to do. He wants a team that can actually play through. And if we get that right, I think we're the scary factor next season, to be honest, because everybody's like saying exactly the same thing. Oh, Forest are fucked. They're going down next season. They're definitely relegated and all this, that, and the other. Sorry, but you said that last season, and look where we are. So, keep talking your shit, and we'll keep shoveling it. You know what I mean? Fuck it.
Yeah, and plus your boys got another year experience in the Prem. I mean, that's nothing to shy away from. They're going to have plan. Steve Cooper will have a plan for Newcastle. He'll have a plan for Brighton. Because of what happened last season, he'll have something to work off of.
I love that quote. I love that quote.
That is perfect. That is perfect.
Everyone has a plan to get a smack in the mouth.
That's very true.
100%.
And plan B's, I think, I don't think every manager has a plan B, Yeti. I just don't think it's, maybe it's not as common as we think. We know Arteta does it. At least he's shown that he really kind of folds when the pressure.
I think he's
really
working on it, think he's working.
Yeah, I think a lot of managers, if you ask them, like, well, if it doesn't work out, I have a plan B up here. But do the players know how to like really switch that, right? So it's really on the players to switch their minds, pull back, push forward, whatever the plan is, you know. So that's where I think, like with your squad, your club overall, like if it really does go south in January and December, you know, is getting rid of the manager the solution when the players aren't performing? Because sometimes they just don't perform. It's not the manager's fault, right? I think sometimes a lot of blame goes on managers because the players just aren't doing what they're supposed to do, or they're doing it incorrectly, right? And it's little things like timing of passes and running into space, or you know, pulling out wide. It could just be little things that you know.
Putting in the work rate.
Yeah, putting in the work rate is. You know, is your right back more inverted than he should be? You know, like that stuff. I think Steve Cooper has a football mind and can figure that out. And I think Arteta does too. I think a lot of the managers do. But it's really on the players to execute, right?
Yeah.
Like you can go up there and you can draw X's and O's on a whiteboard and tell them where to go. But if they don't fucking do it, your conversation.
To be fair, you shouldn't have to. You shouldn't have to manage them like that. You shouldn't. I mean, fucking hell, what are the kids?
Right,
you know what I mean?
At this level, they should know their job for sure. For sure.
Just go out there and die for the shirt. If you don't die for the shirt, then get the fuck out of my club. That's why I'm not interested in Lingard. That's why I'm not interested in Remo Freuler. You know, every time that goal in the Carling Cup that Rashford scored goes down as a worldie. Now, I'm not being funny, but if Remo Freuler goes straight through the prick, then he don't score, does he? You know, and Yates would have done that, but unfortunately we didn't have Yates. So it gets like a goal that gets on all the highlights and all this, that, and the other. It's not an highlight goal. If I was on the pitch, I would have wrapped his fucking legs around his head.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
And that's the thing I said a lot of the streams last season, you know, before matches and so forth, when we play on, you know, on Saturdays or Sundays even, that you have to go out there and play for the shirt, like you were saying. You have to go out there and do your job. There's no
100%.
There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. And the thing is that if you don't have the backups, though, and that's another part of that, we need more players. Like you said, you need more backups. And I want to get to a point where some backups, you know, if you're good enough, take that first place spot. If Reece Nelson is that good, why is he on the bench? Right?
Earn the shirt. Earn the shirt.
You know, if these top gooders are rating these players so much, you know, is Reece Nelson really fighting for Saka's spot? Is he fighting for Martinelli's spot? Well, that's something he needs to prove, you know. ESR.
It is. Yeah, absolutely.
For Emile Smith-Rowe as well 100%. This season. If him and Reece Nelson don't cut it this year, I want them out. You know, just like I'm sure you've got 2 or 3 players that, you know, if they're just not doing the job, they just got to go.
Yeah,
and
100%.
There's a lot to be said about a team like yours that has the fight because you see it, right? It's like you see it in the game you played against us at the end of the season. Oh, wait, I think we played Wolves. Or did we play you guys? Or second,
yeah, I think you played us and then Wolves.
You played you guys, yeah. The second game of the season. Right. We lost fight. You guys had it, and fight wins the game.
Yeah.
You know? And I don't want to drop these just silly points. You know, again, no disrespect to Forrest and you or Brighton and so forth, but if we're looking to win the trophy, we can't drop points to lower level teams.
No. You know, I think what everybody needs to do is what I said the other day. Every time you see that somebody that Brighton's interested in, just go in and steal them.
Right.
You don't need scouting. Just go in and steal them because then you're not going to be paying 90 million for them after.
And Brighton, I don't know.
I'm just going to get a beer, mate. Just take over for a sec.
Sounds good. What's up, chat? How's everyone doing? I'm trying to take over. I don't know if I can take over. Can I even read the comments? Anyway, I'll go through the comments. I don't think I can highlight them. Jaminho says Forrest will finish between 14th and 18th. Oh, man. It's not very nice, Jaminho. Let's see. Arsenal forever. Arteta needs to know and understand how to utilize players. Yep. Their strength. Absolutely. The sexiest Oregonian, Carl.
Yeah, you've got that
guy.
tag now, mate.
I can't wait
Hopefully
to
this ain't the
hold
beer that I
you,
dropped on the floor.
hold you in my arms. You dropped your beer on the
Otherwise,
floor?
this is
That's
going to get
okay.
interesting. No, it's not. Yeah, I
Tucker,
mean,
Oregonian.
it's at the end of the day, I think we're the what do you call it? Like, where you're the hidden. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, dark horses. That's the word I was looking.
I mean,
I was thinking wolves for some reason. I think it's Carl Rossi in his picture.
Wolves. Oh yeah, that is a
I
hot
was
picture
thinking
of
wolves.
a dog. Beautiful dog.
We are
I just
the
love
dark
it.
horses, and we have done it in the past, and not Premier League obviously, but I think you have to take us into account. I think we need to get to a point where teams aren't just thinking, "Oh, we're playing Forest this week, 3 points." Because there's so many people last season were saying to me, which I find absolutely hilarious, "I really hope you stay up, but you ain't going to beat us." And I'm like, well, if everybody says that, how the hell are we going to stay up then?
But you proved everyone wrong. You revamped the squad, and you've got very good players in there now. I really like your striker, Awakawu. Is that his name?
Awonyi, good
never
player.
pronounce that right.
Player.
I think there's a K in there for some reason. Yeah,
We've
I got
really started to
over
get
Eddie
sorted at the end of the season.
The big, strong bull, man. He's big player, fast. Yeah, he'd be a good fit for Arsenal.
Yeah, I like him. I do like him. I thought he was going to be something because when we actually was going to sign him, he was in the goal charts at United Berlin or whatever they was called, for Berlin or whatever. And basically, he was only third down from Ireland and Lewandowski.
No kidding.
So I mean, he's definitely got something to show.
I don't realize that.
Yeah, but you missed out on so many, like the Danilos and the Scarpas and all this kind of stuff. You should be looking at players like that. I don't understand why you're not looking at players like. I mean, it makes it easier for us if you don't.
Right.
But because obviously, if you was in and we was in, you're probably going to get the player more than we are. So, but every player we got, nobody was like looking at. We're kind of like Brighton in that respect,
right?
We're picking up like great players that the bigger clubs are just not looking at.
Yeah, you're picking up names that have batted around, but nobody's really just wanted to pull the trigger on, right?
And, yeah, exactly. Yeah, because they're not sure.
And that's kind of like the old Arsenal way too, of looking at players and being linked to players and all the different websites and so forth you see in social media. But at the end of the day, you've got to find the right player that fits the club, and that's where everyone, I think the big question is with Kai Havertz is like, how does he really fit into our squad? Again, is he a striker? Is he a midfielder? Like, what's Arteta going to do? And, the thing is that he may have he may have a plan A with Kai Havertz, but does he have a plan B with Kai Havertz? And what is that? Like, if we move him, if we start to sub around,
Saudi with looks of it.
Good, smart man, Onana. Yeah,
I mean, we want that. We want Man United to get him so that we can get Henderson, because Henderson at the start of the season was absolutely immense for us. I mean, we had the worst record on people scoring from outside the area. Do you know what I mean? And then he sort of came in and he was like a major shot stopper. His distribution is not the best, which I assume that Cooper's going to work on. But so I would have rather like Man United have got a Nana so that we can get that fucker sorted out.
Yeah,
because I'm not being funny. I didn't rate. I know a lot of people will fucking disagree with me on this, but I don't give a fuck. I'm not about fucking just playing the fucking princess to everybody's fucking whims and all that shit. But the thing is when we got Navas, I thought Navas made some major schoolboy errors. Whenever it came into the area, he would parry it right into the box. You don't parry it right into the box because there's always going to be somebody to knock it in.
Yeah.
That's schoolboy shit. That
It's
is.
just, yeah, it was kind of the Keylor Navas move was really strange, wasn't it? I mean, from the highlights of Real Madrid to Nottingham Forest, I mean, it's kind of strange, but
I thought he
yeah,
was great. I thought he was great at distribution and all that kind of
oh
stuff.
sure,
But knocking a ball down, I mean, come on. I mean, as a goalkeeper, you learn you either catch it or you put it to the sides.
right?
You don't knock it down into the center of the area.
Yeah,
I mean, it's just bizarre.
yeah. I start to think you start to wonder, like someone like Keylor Navas was just a top keeper at Madrid in La Liga, right? And then they come to England, and it's kind of like they just forget like what the hell to do.
Yeah, I just
You know,
find it
it's
weird.
weird. Is it, and I wonder if it's just like the goalkeeper coaching, or they're getting, goalkeepers are obviously tend to be older. They're kind of stuck in their ways and they do things the way they want to. I can kind of see that with Keylor Navas.
Great shot stopper.
I got it under control, mate. Telling the goalkeeper.
Amazing shot stopper, but dropping it into the area just don't make any sense.
No, I agree. And we remember how we trashed Ramsdale as well when he got into
care, Mama. Thanks for dropping in.
Cheers, Mama. Have a great day. Have a good evening. We trashed Ramsdale. That was such a surprise move, and now he's the world's
he went weird
most
at the end
valuable
of the
goalkeeper.
season, though, didn't he?
What's that?
He went weird at the end of the season. He was just kicking it to anybody.
He kind of got full of himself, I think, a bit.
Yeah, I think he probably did.
It's like he kind of got a bit cocky, I think, and I still want to go back and want the players. Hopefully, they have spent time to go back and look at the Liverpool game, the West Ham game, and it's going to be one of those seasons again, which I think matters to a lot of clubs. It's the littlest mistakes, are going to cost.
Yeah,
first
100%.
game last season with Tomiyasu making the mistake against City, kicking the ball back, and Holland just stole it and scored.
That was just mental.
Stupid mistakes like that are what's going to cost us, But I think that's that's true for every club team, right? I mean,
of course it is. Yeah, it's mistakes, isn't it? You're human.
Yeah, it's all the mistakes. And if we can stay mistake free and just do the job, do the job that the players are supposed to do, just time the passes right, because some of the passing though, our last game of the season was just abysmal.
It was.
It passes like to nobody, and nobody was communicating.
Yeah,
they knew the title was pretty much done, but we've got to be able to break that mental barrier. And I just hope a lot of that doesn't hang on, over this summer and going into the season and so forth.
I'll be honest with you, as I always am.
Yeah.
I felt that there was like some kind of deal with Pep that you can have this, we'll have rice or something like that. You know what I mean? It just seemed like, because Arteta was on the sidelines and he just wasn't.
Right.
He wasn't animated. He wasn't, come on, do better and all this, that, and the other. It was as if you just gave up. It was crazy.
Well, it's like the way Pep motivates that team is probably a lot different than Arteta, right?
Yeah.
And you have someone like Holland that, I mean, basically all they had to do was kick the ball up to Holland and let him push down the center back. I mean, they didn't have that City flair that they had. But they, especially at the beginning of last season and what they've showed, previous seasons, but they started to find that, mid-season, and it started to come back.
But they've been there and done it. They've been there and done it. I think that makes
Pep can make those adjustments, I think, a lot easier than Arteta and even, a Steve Cooper can, right?
Yeah,
because he's got the talent to do that. He's going to say, okay, if I tell KDB to do this, he'll just go do it. If I tell Holland or Foden to do this, they'll just go do it. Where I think with other cases, like maybe Mikel and Steve Cooper have to really kind of explain themselves and say why they're doing it. I don't think many of those players talk back to Pep. I don't think it's as communicative as it should be, right? It's not a two-way street. So he's like,
I think,
you either do this, or you're not gonna play.
I think personally, the big thing that Pep did was when he did that interview and he just said, like, it's not good enough. You know what I mean? Like old managers used to do, like Clough used to do, and all this that and the other. It's not good enough. None of these players want it. and all that kind of stuff. And I thought that really sort of drilled into them that, you know what, you either get your act together or you're fucking gone. It don't matter how good you are, I will still just drop you and get rid of you.
Right.
He dropped KDB for fuck's sake.
He did. Well, KDB, you know, I think he's 30 years old. He's getting up there. And I think he was probably carrying an injury a bit. But to me, those were subliminally what he means is get the ball under control and get it up to Holland so we can win.
Yeah, and I think that's massive.
You know, I mean, it's just, it's so crazy to have such a domineering striker like that.
Yeah,
you know?
100%. I mean, that guy is just, oh man. I'd love to have him because we had Elfing Garland at one time. So hopefully at some point he goes, you know what, I'm going to follow my dad's footsteps and I'm going to play for Forest. That's what I'd love to see that.
Yeah, that would be a very interesting trade, wouldn't it?
I would love to see that. I would love to see that.
You know, Pep has a way to deal with players that I don't think other managers do. I mean, he managed Messi for years.
Yeah.
You know, and Messi doesn't have, I don't think, much much of a, you know, an attitude that he showed, of course, in his later seasons, of course, at Barcelona and PSG. He kind of, you know, you saw kind of a pricklier side of Messi. But besides all that, I think that Pep will have them ready, man, for this season. And I'm curious what moves they're going to make because the Declan, like you said with the Declan Rice deal, I could really see them, you know, a couple of weeks ago, just looking at KDB and saying, you know, we got to be ruthless. And KDB, you're a legend here. We love you, but we got to move on. And that's the kind of ruthlessness that Arsenal need. That finally took, you know, 7 years to get Granit Xhaka out of the club. You know, Pep's going to have that conversation with KDB.
Yeah.
You know, and I think, like you said, they were kind of on the, you know, fringes of looking at Rice, but I think they thought the money was probably too high. And, you know, I think that Pep knows there's other players out there.
The thing is with Xhaka, you mentioned Xhaka. I don't think for a minute Forrest would have accepted what he did. You know, when he like put two fingers up to you lot and you know, he chucked the captain's badge down, threw on the shirt and all that kind of stuff. I don't think we would have had that. Back in the day, it don't matter who you are, it don't matter who the fuck you are. If you're going to treat my club like that, you would have been gone. And I think that was a big point of changing the culture of the Arsenal fans. If the Arsenal fans had kicked off and gone, oh, we're not having this, he's got to go and all this kind of stuff, it would have made a big difference. And I think that was the turning point where they got that culture change where everybody just accepts everything.
I think that's a very good, you know, I think that's a very good thing to say because the culture did, because we, you know, I grew up watching 23, 24, watching like Patrick Vieira just not take any shit and fight with Roy Keane, you know, that fight. I think Xhaka has that fight, but it's just, he comes off as like a petulant child.
Yeah.
You know, it's just, you know, with the haircut and the smile and the tan and, you know, the money thrown around and his beautiful wife and he's, you know, playing for Arsenal. There's sometimes I can question if he was a real fucking footballer, Yeti. You know, we got a great season out of him because he was moving forward. But I think Kai Havertz is an upgrade for that.
Yeah. Okay, mate, I've got no problem with the Kai Havertz thing. I just think it was too expensive. I think it was more a 30 million signing with add-ons. Personally, that, you know, to make it 65 eventually, if it have actually worked out, that's the only issue I have with it. I don't think he's a bad player. I think he needs the right team. Look at Aurier for us. I mean, Spurs was saying he was the biggest pile of shit on the planet. He was absolutely amazing for us last season. You know, so it's just what club you're in and what manager you've got. And if you've got the right manager that gets the right fucking buttons ticked, then the boxes ticked even, then, you know, you're on the right shape. But like Carl Rossi says here, Pep has a very strong presence in general. He's one of them natural alpha type personas you see a lot in the business world. When he speaks, you listen. Spawn, Clough, mate, Clough,
Wenger,
Brian Clough, exactly the fucking
Wenger,
same.
you know,
And
Ferguson.
Wenger as well, yeah.
Yeah, you know, Wenger and Ferguson. I you know, it's all or nothing, Carl Rossi. It's all or nothing this season, bro.
It's gotta be.
It's gotta be. You know, and City are still going to sign a couple players, but I think with the likes of Liverpool getting better, we know they're signing a couple of top players, and Chelsea are going to be good. I just don't think what's his name, Pochettino is going to have a
People
complete
are sleeping
11
on
right out
Chelsea.
the gate. Yeah, to me, I've said this before, man. They're the best team on paper in the world. You know,
People are sleeping on
maybe
Chelsea.
City with Holland, of course, but I just think that, you know, with and going back what I was saying earlier, like going back to the Rice deal, like you were saying about City not really heavily moving for him, it's probably partially because Pep, like you said, doesn't think Rice is as good as KDB. Maybe there's something better. You know, there's the Zubamendi kid for I think Real Sociedad that we were linked with and City have looked at. There's players from Atletico Madrid. I mean, they could, you know, Real Madrid. He can pull a player from anywhere, and you know, if KDB is just kind of on the going out, he's going to get injured more. They're going to have to find a replacement for him, and I don't know if Phil Foden is really the one for that. You know, they may have to look outside. But God, man,
to be honest, I think the ideal replacement for KDB is Jack Grealish. I thought that for a while. I think the ideal replacement for him is Jack Grealish.
More central, huh?
Yeah, 100%. Jack Grealish is an amazing player.
Yeah, I know. He started off kind of crap this season, didn't he? Or last season, he really picked it up. Yeah, he was phenomenal at the end of the season. And he was
he was class. He's class.
He's just the way he moves the ball.
He's world class as well. He's got world class in him. It's coming.
Yeah,
there's no doubt about that.
Hard to find not really much world class at City besides John Stones, who had a revelation year last year.
Yeah, John Stones. Look what he's doing with him.
Jeez, I thought he was done and dusted. I was going to put him in the Phil Jones category.
You know what? It's the same situation as when Roy Keane used to play for us, because Roy Keane used to play for us more in a striking role, and then Alex Ferguson took him on and made him the best fucking midfielder you've ever seen. I mean, and it's exactly the same thing with Grealish, in my opinion. It's just like, I mean, not like he's not like Roy Keane. I mean, fucking hell, give me a break. But the guy, you know, I do think he could play the KDB role eventually. And some people might think I'm mad saying that. A lot of people think I'm mad saying a lot of things. But, you know, I might be in a straitjacket one day, but fuck it, who cares?
I might be joining you there too, buddy.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly.
100%.
100%. Take over for a minute. I need a pee.
Sounds good. Yeah, you got to be kind of crazy, don't you guys, to be a football fan? I mean, it takes a certain kind of instinctual fortitude that not a lot of other sports fans have. But yeah, the alpha type personas. Put in the chat if you guys think like Arsene Wenger had that type of persona. I think he really did. He spoke, people listened. Obviously, Alex Ferguson, who I think is probably the best manager in football history, you know, over Brian Clough, unfortunately, Yeti. But Alex Ferguson, I mean, alpha, jeez. You know, there's someone like Pochettino, not really. Graham Potter, definitely not. But alpha type personas is what you need to have in your manager. They got to have balls, man. They got to have steel balls and say things that hurt players' feelings, that hurts the media feelings, and sometimes will hurt fans' feelings. It is a business world, and we're just living in it, man. But I never thought I'd see the day that Arsenal would pay $100 million for one player. Just something else. Stones wouldn't have even lasted that long. See if he hadn't made that iconic clearance. Oh, yeah. Ecstasy. He's kind of gurning a little bit, mate. You know, ecstasy. Your man Steve Cooper's on the MDMA there, Yeti. Stones would have lasted. See, we didn't make that iconic clearance. Yeah. Stones and Laporte. How they survived at City, I'll never know. When would Declan do that?
Right, I'm back.
Yeah, I see.
Yeah, I mean, who do you see like being in the top 4 winning the title next season?
Steve Mully. First place is going to be Arsenal. Second place is City. Third place Liverpool. Fourth place Newcastle.
See, that's what I like to hear. You've got to hey my. You've got to always want to win it. If you don't want to win it, what's the point being in it?
Yeah. And you know, I said a lot last season on streams too, Yeti, that to think that we weren't going to have a 2-horse race with City is fucking delusional, right? I mean, it's always 2 clubs that are battling out a few points here and there. I mean, there's been exceptions where City and Chelsea have ran away with it, right? And United have ran away with it. But it's always been...
Mate, I don't care what he looks like.
Just because he can coach a football squad, he's an ugly-looking toad. It's all good. Poor Steve Cooper.
I kind of worry about people like judging his looks and stuff like that. It's like, you know, what's wrong with you?
Well, maybe Jaminho wants to just give him a little kiss on the cheek or something. You know?
Jaminho ain't got the best Spaniard, you know. I'm sorry, mate.
Yeah, that's right, with the Lego hair.
We've got the ugliest looking English person, Welsh person that we know.
Yeah, who else is well? Steve McLaren. I guess he's.
If he brings the precious, then I'm happy.
Yeah, if Steve Cooper brings you guys a trophy and he does it off of ecstasy, I'm going to shit myself. But you know, I think Arsenal. It's going to be another 2-horse race again. Liverpool are going to be absolutely fired up because that was a disgrace what they went through last season.
Yeah. It ain't going to happen again.
Knows it. The fans, the players, they all know last season was a fucking letdown. So they're going to be gassed for this season. And you know, it's going to be hard to fight off City and Liverpool, man. I'm going to put United in there, of course, as well. But they haven't really made any big moves.
No, they haven't done
made a move if they've made a transfer, I don't know about, guys, put it in the chat, because from what I've heard, that people have turned their heads. I don't know if the Ten Hag system fits everybody. You know, I mean, it's a rigid. His neck fat is more attractive. My ex's neck fat is more attractive.
Why do you look at everybody's neck fat, Cole?
I don't know. I guess Carl and I.
You've got an issue there, mate.
It's kind of one of those things. No, I don't look at that fat.
No, I don't. I don't really view men as attractive or not.
I don't judge. But I gotta say, you're pretty damn good looking, Yeti, I must say. But no,
mate, you must have had. How much do you had to drink?
I've had some Dr. Pepper, but I've had a little bit of ganja this morning, so
there you go. That's why you think I'm good looking.
We had Rossi with weird kinks.
Thanks anyway, but you know, I'm not.
Yeah, not your thing, huh?
I actually went down to get some beer the other day, and some guy turned around and said, "Oh, I love your beard. You look fucking gorgeous." And I was like, "Mate, this ain't a fucking pride festival. I ain't taking up the fucking arse, mate. Fuck off."
You put on a little Metallica in the background, huh? Yeah, no thanks.
Absolutely.
No, but Jaminho says he hates Liverpool more than any other club. Yeah, I don't know. I hate them too. But the fact of the matter is they've got a fantastic manager. And if I'm being 100% honest, Klopp was the manager I did want to replace Wenger with. He was the number one partner for me when Wenger was leaving and Klopp was coming in. He was,
he is good.
Man, just the energy he shows on the pitch, jumping around with the fans. I fucking love that. I love that, you know, and I love it when Arteta does it. I loved it when we thrash Spurs and we're jumping around. You know, I just think that.
You see, the thing is, Clough Clough started that thing whereas we win, and he just sits there with no facial expression whatsoever.
Yeah, right.
And then Mourinho started doing it, and Mourinho is a big fan of Clough, as I know.
Right.
So you know what I mean, and that was a Clough thing because he just kind of, you'd win fucking a European League, and he'd just sit there and go,
Yeah.
There were still issues in that game.
Right. He's still looking at it. Where can we improve it? Why did that guy do that when I didn't want him to?
Yeah, exactly.
Right? And that's
a good manager.
That elite mentality that we've talked about so much.
Absolutely.
You have to be cutthroat in this game, because if you're not that alpha persona, and you can't, if you can't be direct with the players and telling them what you want to do, and you got to be kind of wishy-washy and, well, I really love you to do this, mate, and move over here and do this. And, what we're kind of trying to do is this. No, we're not kind of doing shit. We're trying to say you need to play the position. And, that's the other thing, too, with, like we're saying with Mourinho and, having the blank stare, is there's been videos when he was at Chelsea, showing the lineup on the whiteboard saying, if we do this, if we execute this the way I want to, the way we need to, I cannot guarantee a win, but we will not lose. And he'd close the clap on his pen and throw it down.
Yeah,
but we will not lose. So
you've got to have that respect. You've got to have that respect from your players. And I think in a sense Arteta's got it, but in a sense that he hasn't got it when it starts going wrong. Do you know what I mean?
It's easy to slay them when they do wrong, bro, and it's hard to praise them when they do good, right?
Absolutely.
I mean, it was hard for me to come on streams and say, "Oh, Arteta got it right," because I didn't really rate him all that much. And I still, to be completely honest with everyone in the chat, I'm really kind of 50-50 on it, because there is the other side of me that, yes, there's other managers that can get these players to where we need to be.
To be fair, TJ still hasn't apologised to him, and he should have by now, to be honest.
I should have apologized.
TJ still hasn't apologized to him. He should have by now.
TJ should apologize to Arteta. No,
he should.
Don't apologize, TJ. Yeti's trying to pull your balls down. Don't let him do that to you. Drink your whiskey and be happy on 4th of July. No, the thing is that you've got to be direct, man. There's none of this dicking around of, I hope you do this, I hope you do that. Yeah, I'm at the fact now you need to be direct. Tell the players what to do. Get the right players in. Yeah, literally ever.
Yeah, I love to poke the bear that is TJ. I just like to do it. I don't know why.
Everyone's fun to pick on once in a while. Everyone's got to take a little bit of the heat, right?
Yeah, he's a good guy. He's doing fucking major shit on his channel. Big up to TJ Warren TV. Make sure you subscribe to TJ Warren TV. And also Oregon Gooner as well. He's absolute legend coming on here. I really do appreciate that.
Yeah, we've got a couple of great guests coming on the show. Unfortunately, I'm not going to be on this Friday. TJ Connor will be holding me down. But finally, we're having Diesel on the show, and I'm excited for that. I've been a big fan of for a long time. But I don't know, Yeti. I guess we can kind of wrap this up, bro. I really appreciate you bringing me on.
Yeah. G-Talk's gone like 1 hour with 23 minutes.
I'm going to be watching more Forest than I ever have because of you, and I think you have a good squad. I think you have a very good squad that can compete. I think the top 6 is a real stretch. But I think, that 8th, 9th, 10th spot is wide open.
Watch out for us, mate.
If you guys get 6th and go to a conference cup, what do you and that's another thing too. And just quickly, on your opinion, if West Ham got a trophy and we didn't, who had the better season?
West Ham.
Thank you.
100%. There's no argument, is there? Really. If you get a trophy or if we got to a point where we got a conference trophy or whatever, it's a trophy, man. And I'll take a trophy every day of the fucking week.
Absolutely. I would too.
Every day of the week.
So thanks again, bro, for having me on. It's been a great chat.
Absolute pleasure, mate.
Yeah, that's we'll get you on the American Idiots show here in the next couple of weeks. TJ and I and Connor are getting a calendar together, so we're laying out shows and trying to get people on to get spots filled. And of course, we get links in the chat. You're always welcome. But thanks again, man. Happy 4th of July to everyone out there.
Yeah, happy
it's
4th
been
of
fun
July
for
to everybody. Happy Independence Day. Although I thought the film was shit, to be honest, it was
me.
terrible. But you know,
Go
I mean,
America.
you've got like fucking Will Smith. They're telling you all the time about these aliens that they can stop bullets. Yeah, Will
Right,
Smith can
right.
knock one of them out. I mean, if he could do that, then he probably would have knocked Chris Rock out, and he didn't. So that made no sense, did it? Really.
Well,
Anyway,
don't keep his wife out of your. Keeps his wife name out of your.
keep my wife's name out of your fucking mouth.
You just slap from Will Smith. Right. If he can fight the aliens, then there's. Let's put it this way: if he can fight the aliens, there's hope for Arteta.
Exactly.
Right. If Will Smith can fight the aliens, Arteta can surely win a trophy. Thank you, my brother.
Yeah,
been
no
fun.
problem. Big up everybody. Smash a like, hit the subscribe. I'll have more people on this channel at some point, and we'll just fucking kick it, man. I don't give a fuck. We'll just kick it.
Yeah. Perfect.
So now I'm going to play the outro if I can fucking find it. And cheers, man. I appreciate big time that you've been on here. I really do appreciate it.
Thanks for the invite, bro. It's good times.
Take it easy, dude.
Take it easy.
Oh, you are a bloody disgrace! Hey, Buzz! For missing the target from there, you want bloody shooting! Oh, it's crap. Oh, it's bloody rubbish! It's rubbish!
But how do you react though when someone, from your playing staff comes in and says, "Boss, I think you're doing this wrongly"?
Good. Well, I ask him which way he thinks it should be done. We get down to it, and then we talk about it for 20 minutes, and then we decide I was right.
Thanks, man. Really.
Thanks, man.
Oh, wait a minute. I'm still on. I ended the broadcast.
Anyway.